Snowflakes fell gently from the sky, covering the world in a thick, white silence. The streets were deserted, and the cold bit deep into the skin of anyone daring enough to walk outside. But for a boy no older than 8, the storm was the least of his worries. His small hands trembled as he clutched a bundle tightly against his chest. Wrapped in a thin, dotted blue blanket, his baby sister whimpered, her soft cries piercing through the howling wind. The boy's eyes were filled with fear, yet determination burned within them. Beside him, a woman lay motionless in the snow, her coat dusted white by frost. She was his mother, the only anchor he had left in this world, and she wasn't moving. "Mommy, wake up," the boy whispered, shaking her arm with one free hand, his voice quivering. "We're almost at the hospital. Please, just a little more." But her lips were pale, her breath faint, almost gone. The boy's throat tightened as tears blurred his vision. He had promised her he would protect the baby, no matter what. And now, in the middle of the storm, he realized that promise rested entirely on his small shoulders. Through the swirling snow, the glowing letters of hospital flickered in the distance, a beacon of hope. Summoning all his courage, he knelt down, kissed his baby sister's forehead, and whispered, "Don't cry, I'll take care of you." He tucked the blanket closer around her tiny face, shielding her from the icy wind. Then, with a shaky breath, he tried once more to wake his mother, but she did not respond. Footsteps suddenly crunched in the snow behind him. A deep voice called out, "Hey, what's happening here?" The boy looked up, his eyes wide with both fear and relief. A police officer, bundled in a heavy coat, was rushing toward them with a German shepherd by his side. The dog barked, its sharp voice echoing through the frozen night, but its eyes were soft, focused on the boy. I need help," the boy shouted, his voice breaking. "My mom, she collapsed. Please, my sister, she's cold." The officer dropped to his knees beside the woman, checking for a pulse. His face tightened with concern. "She's still breathing, but very weak. We need to get her inside now." He lifted his radio. "This is Officer Daniels. Emergency at the east entrance. Woman unconscious, 2 children, 1 infant. Send medics immediately." The boy's arms tightened around his baby sister as though the storm itself would snatch her away. "Please don't let her die," he whispered. His cheeks were wet, though whether from snow or tears, he couldn't tell. Officer Daniels glanced at him, his voice steady but kind. "Hey, what's your name, son?" "Ethan," the boy whispered. "Ethan, listen to me," the officer said firmly, meeting the child's eyes. "You've done an incredible job keeping your sister safe. Now let me help you. We're going to get both of them warm and safe, all right?" Ethan nodded, though his small body shook from cold and fear. The sound of rushing footsteps soon filled the night. Nurses and paramedics burst through the hospital doors, carrying stretchers and blankets. They gently lifted Ethan's mother onto one, covering her with layers of warmth. Another nurse carefully reached for the baby, but Ethan hesitated, pulling back slightly. "Don't worry," the nurse said softly, her voice full of reassurance. "We'll take good care of her. You've been so brave." Ethan looked at his sister's tiny face, her breath shallow but steady. He kissed her forehead one more time before slowly handing her over. "Her name is Lily," he whispered. As the medics rushed his mother and sister into the hospital, Ethan suddenly felt the weight of the world crash down on him. His knees buckled, and he sank into the snow, exhausted. The officer immediately crouched beside him, wrapping his own thick coat around the boy's shoulders. "You're safe now," Officer Daniels said gently. "You've done more tonight than most grown men could ever do. You saved them, Ethan." Inside the hospital, time seemed to stretch endlessly. Ethan sat in the waiting area, wrapped in a blanket, staring at the swinging doors where his mother and sister had disappeared. Every tick of the clock echoed like thunder in his ears. The officer stayed with him, never leaving his side, even offering him hot chocolate from the hospital cafeteria. Hours passed before a doctor finally approached. Ethan stood instantly, his heart pounding. Are they okay?" he asked in a trembling voice. The doctor placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "Your baby sister is safe. She was very cold, but we warmed her up, and she's resting now. And my mom," the doctor's smile was soft. "She's weak, but alive. You brought her here just in time. Another hour in the cold, and it might have been too late. She'll need rest and care, but she's going to recover." Ethan's legs gave out in relief, and he dropped back into the chair, covering his face with his small hands as sobs of gratitude shook his body. Later, When he was finally allowed into the room, he found his mother lying on a hospital bed, pale but awake. Her eyes filled with tears when she saw him. "Ethan, you did it. You saved us." He climbed onto the chair beside her, holding her hand tightly. "I was so scared, Mom. But I didn't let go of Lily. I promised I'd protect her." His mother pulled him close, weak but filled with love. "You're my hero," she whispered. As snow continued to fall outside the hospital, the storm no longer seemed so terrifying. For Ethan, the world had shifted. He wasn't just a little boy anymore, he was a brother, a protector, and the reason his family had survived. That night, in the quiet warmth of the hospital room, Ethan realized something he would never forget: courage isn't about being unafraid. It's about holding on, even when the world feels like it's falling apart, and sometimes, even the smallest hands can carry the greatest strength.